I'm the top actress in the movie business. On my daughter Lily's 7th birthday, my husband Mark traded a time machine for $1 billion. He said he was sorry about it. He wanted to go back 8 years and save Chloe, not me, his pregnant wife at the time, from a flood. So, on that special day, I could only watch as my daughter, who I had spoiled for 7 years, disappeared into thin air. And he, to celebrate Chloe coming back to life after being gone, set off fireworks all over the city. When I opened my eyes again, I was back 8 years ago, just before a big flood hit. This time, I didn't hesitate. I kicked Mark right into the water. I watched them both, Mark and Chloe, swimming in the flood, acting out some kind of dramatic love scene like in a movie. Lily. I woke up suddenly like I was coming out of a bad dream. I was shaking, putting my hands on my stomach. Everything around me looked so familiar, and I realized I had somehow come back to life the night before the flood, 8 years ago. My daughter Lily had been taken away by my husband Mark, the man I had been with for 8 years, using a time machine that cost $1 billion. He said, "Olivia, I'm willing to do anything, even buy a time machine." As long as he could go back in time, he wanted to bring back Chloe, the love of his life. So Lily disappeared from my sight. No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find her, and no one else in the world remembered her either. They only remembered Mark, the CEO, showing off how much he loved his wife, spending a fortune on fireworks all over the city just to get a smile from the top actress Chloe. For 7 days and 7 nights, fireworks filled the sky, but I couldn't find my daughter or get revenge. I just died, full of hate, under those bright fireworks. Now I'm back to the night before the flood. My assistant grumbled a little, saying, "Olivia, you fainted while you're pregnant, and Mark is still not coming to see you in Chloe's tent." I shook my head, tears falling without me being able to stop them, feeling a strong sense of excitement in my heart. "Great! Lily, this time Mom will definitely protect you." Outside, the rain was pouring down heavily, so I immediately grabbed the assistant's hand. "Quickly, tell the villagers to go to higher ground. The flood is about to happen. This place will be underwater by tomorrow morning." 8 years ago, this flood killed thousands of people. Since I've been given a second chance, I'll do my best to save as many lives as possible. As the assistant was about to leave, I called out to her. "Wait, do not disturb Mark and Chloe. Move everyone to the boat first." Mark. In the previous life, he was full of regret. He saved me, his pregnant newlywed wife, in this flood. So he sold a time machine for $10 billion and didn't care about Lily's life. Going back 8 years, he chose to rescue someone else. This time, I want to see how he will survive. This was the first year I was married to Mark, and it was also the year I was doing the best in my career. I was filming in a remote area when Mark, pretending to visit me on set, was secretly having a relationship with the supporting actress Chloe. He was always cold and distant when he was with me. Every time Lily tried to make Mark happy, he would push her away coldly. She was such a good child, always saying, "It's Lily's fault making Daddy angry." But this sweet child was ultimately erased from the world by Mark, and no one remembered her. He regretted not saving Chloe, so he used a time machine to go back and change what happened, which led to my daughter Lily's death. How could I not hate him? How could I not feel angry? Even people watching couldn't stand it. "Olivia, Mark is too much." The director hesitated, looking at me with a lot of sympathy. I hid the strong hate I felt inside and forced a smile. "Young people like to have fun. It's normal. I have more important things to do, and soon Mark won't be able to laugh." I told the director, "If you trust me now, take the people and hurry to the boat." I had worked with the director many times, so he naturally trusted me. After hearing what I said, he quietly moved the crew. The rain was loud, hitting the tent constantly. Mark and Chloe were watching Titanic in the tent. They were joking around, so not hearing the noise outside was normal. Now, I will not make the same mistake and leave my job for love. I will protect my daughter Lily, who is in my womb, and also keep my current success. I worked tirelessly all night. Most of the villagers were moved to the boat. The boat was a prop we used during filming, but luckily the director rented a real boat. Otherwise, everyone here would have been in danger. As morning approached, before I left, I looked once again at Chloe's tent. They hadn't come out all night. I really looked forward to seeing them come out and see the empty, flooded area. The assistant reminded me, Olivia, Mr. Mark seems to still be in Chloe's tent. Should we go call them? The water had reached above our waists, and the flood was about to get worse. I looked at the assistant and said, You go ahead, I'll go call them. Lives were in danger, and the assistant didn't dare stay. Calling out to them, I personally lifted a corner of the tent. Even a tent that was raised high would fall once a corner was lifted, with the floodwaters rushing in. Mark, Chloe, thank me. It wasn't easy to have such a good chance to go through difficulties together. By the time I reached the boat, all the seats were taken. Olivia, come quickly. The last seat is yours. Yes, the last seat should have been mine. If I hadn't waited for Mark last in my past life, he wouldn't have had the chance to save me. After getting on the boat, I watched Mark and Chloe coming quickly from a distance. It was a dangerous moment, but unfortunately, there was no place for them on the boat. The storm was raging. The flood in the remote area burst out, mixed with mud, water, and garbage. Mark and Chloe were floating in the water, holding each other. Olivia, pull us up quickly. I looked down at Mark's handsome and stressed face from above. He has always been noble and proud, untouched by the world, but now he looks like he has fallen to earth. Miserable and pathetic, but not deserving of sympathy. I trembled as I touched my lower abdomen with shaking fingers, holding back my anger, and calmly said, But there's no room here. How do you expect me to save you? Chloe was snuggled in his arms like a delicate and sad little white flower. Mark, I'm cold. Chloe, don't worry. Olivia will definitely save us and get us out of here. Everyone was watching my husband, the impressive Mark, holding Chloe gently and comforting her. Everyone was as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Finally, someone found the last lifebuoy. Olivia, there's a lifebuoy here. You can use it to pull Mark up. Yes, it was this lifebuoy that made Mark face a difficult choice back then, leading to a lifelong regret. And now, I'm making him choose again. I handed the lifebuoy to Mark. Then, I forced a smile and said with regret, Unfortunately, only one can be saved. Everyone on the ship shouted, Mark, hurry and use the lifebuoy. This flood is deadly. Not to mention, it's also to get ready for the upcoming divorce or for me to be a widow. I signaled my assistant to take out her phone and start live streaming. The title was set as Real Life Titanic. I paid $100,000 to buy views. In an instant, the live stream became a trending topic. At this moment, Chloe suddenly started crying, her eyes filled with tears that fell silently. Mark, I love you. I was willing to selflessly give myself to you, but I've been feeling nauseous lately, probably since that time 2 months ago. With these words, Mark's face suddenly changed. The internet exploded. Yet Mark below was still unaware of the live stream. He really started to hesitate. How can that be? Let me help him, the assistant immediately said. Hey, Mark, everyone knows that Chloe is your campus crush. Can you bear to let her be swept away by the flood? She's so delicate, tiny, and pitiful, completely dependent on you. People are watching you on the live stream. How can you not save her? Think carefully, don't do something you'll regret later. The water was rising higher, and the sound of rushing waves hitting the shore was getting closer. Pure love warrior Mark, since you like to make choices so much and then morally blackmail me now, when only one of you and Chloe can survive, let's see how you choose. The number of viewers in the live stream skyrocketed. The whole internet was watching Mark's struggle for survival eagerly, which was even more exciting than a survival show. Under the anticipation of the crowd, a cold, ruthless voice sounded, and everyone on the ship could hear it. Anyone who dares to jump down and give up their spot will be rewarded $1 million. Mark, a businessman, was cold and uncaring to the extreme. He analyzed as if he was negotiating whose life to buy on the business table. $1 million. Enough to make all of you look bright. This amount is huge for you all. My expression turned cold in an instant. This was bad. Mark was going to try to buy lives. His arrogant eyes looked over everyone. Even in this flood, he still showed the power of the upper class and the feeling of being better than others that he had since childhood. $1 million. Enough for you to spend a lifetime buying your lives with ease, he said with disdain. The internet was furious. The people on the ship's eyes lit up, but it also made people watching the live stream angry, with everyone cursing Mark, the capitalist. Mark didn't care about the lives of the people on the ship. 1 million for a life was too much, even for body parts to sell. I hate the face of capitalists. They're arrogant and bossy, just like my boss. Most of the villagers on the ship were restless. Even some villagers who were good swimmers had taken off their coats and were ready to jump to make money. I glanced lightly at the assistant. The assistant immediately stopped them. Wait, isn't your life as precious? You may make money, but won't have the life to spend it. And besides, can we trust his words without proof? Without even giving the 1 million, are you so eager to sacrifice your life for him? If there's no evidence, it will be all on you when the time comes. At that moment, lightning struck across the sky with a deafening sound. Everyone fell silent for a moment. The joy disappeared from Mark's face instantly. In desperation, he offered more money again. 5 million. 5 million for 2 seats. As long as someone is willing to jump, the 5 million will be in your account immediately. At this moment, Mark couldn't help but panic. Despite everything, he kept holding Chloe tightly, his affection clearly visible. Unfortunately, no one believed his words anymore. Many villagers were simple-minded, and 1 million was already a huge amount for them. 5 million was something they wouldn't even dare to dream of. The bigger the offer, the less likely anyone believed it. And the crew members completely understood Mark's personality. At the critical moment of life and death, who would really dare to jump in? Thus, everyone touched their noses, scratched their heads, and sat down obediently. Mark, don't waste your efforts. Money can't replace lives, right? Yeah, the waves are so strong now. Who dares to go down? Mark's face grew paler, and he looked extremely unhappy. However, at this critical moment, the lifebuoy in his hand was suddenly snatched away. Chloe didn't care about anything else and put the lifebuoy on herself. Chloe, you... Mark's eyes widened, and a cold expression of surprise appeared on his face, gradually turning into pain. He asked in a rough voice, Chloe, why would you do this? Obviously, it's to save my life. I suppressed a smile, feeling secretly pleased. Mark, being betrayed by the moonlight must feel terrible, right? Mark, I'm sorry. I did this for the sake of our child. I want to live. Chloe's shoulders trembled as she spoke passionately. The fortune teller said I would only have sons in this lifetime, no daughters. If I hadn't gotten pregnant with our son, I'd rather die than not give you the lifebuoy. But now I have a child. I have 2 lives on me. Mark, this is our son. Hearing Chloe's words, Mark was momentarily speechless. He certainly didn't want to die. But with his family expecting him to have a son to take over, his preference for sons over daughters, and his dislike for Lily being a daughter in the past, he pressured the staff again with his identity as one of the investors. But it was no use. The crew valued their lives more. Mark, pushed to the limit, looked at me in a dangerous way. Olivia, you wouldn't want to watch me die, right? You'll save me, right? I shrugged, a look of regret on my face. But I can't save you. Mark gritted his teeth, his eyes intense. No, you have a way to save me. His tone was certain and chilling. My heart sank as I stared back at him coldly. I heard you say, you come down and I'll go up. Mark's tone was demanding, sending chills down my spine. Did he really think I liked him enough to sacrifice myself for him? I still had things from our past lives to settle. Mark, I've given you face, right? Who gave you the confidence to think I would go down for you? Mark's face changed suddenly. He stared at me in astonishment, speaking without expression. If I hadn't come to visit you, none of this would have happened. In the end, it's still related to you. If something happens to me, you won't get away without trouble. I once viewed Mark through rose-tinted glasses. He was my childhood friend, a companion, family, and lover. But taking away those filters, Mark was just Mark. A person without any special shine. Is that so? Did I make you sneak into Chloe's tent? I revealed. Everyone knows you often stay out all night and have deep conversations with Chloe about life. With a smirk, I added, the life boy was already given to you. It's your own incompetence that lost it. What can I do about it? Your feelings should go to the king of the underworld. The online audience in the live stream room was stunned. Seeing the flood of messages scrolling quickly, I felt relieved and comfortable. After all my refusals, Mark focused on Chloe again. There was only one life boy. Only one of them could survive. With the flood raging, the people on board refused to come down, and there was only one life boy left. Mark's complicated expression looked at Chloe, his fists clenched in frustration. Mark! Chloe's eyes filled up with tears, panic and helplessness clear in her words. Mark, I feel like we're losing our child. He might not make it. Mark, don't you want him to live? A child was the only thing that could touch Mark's emotions. Little did he know, I also carried his flesh and blood in my womb. But this daughter was mine alone, with no connection to him. An assistant couldn't help but whisper to me, Olivia, Chloe is not like this at all. Mark can never outsmart her. I smiled knowingly. Who didn't know the gossip in our circle? Chloe was known for charming men, wealthy, good-looking, and well-built. As long as she had one aspect, she was willing to be with them. She moved freely among men, with them all falling into her hands. Mark was one of them. The child was just a way for Chloe to survive. But perhaps because of the strong influence of the moonlight, Mark firmly believed the child was his. Thus, he made the decision to brave the waters alone. Watching his figure disappear into the distance, I squinted. Mark, you better not die this time. I want to see whose child that pure moonlight belly of yours is carrying. Most people survived the flood. As the waters went down, a widespread search was conducted for Mark, dead or alive. After a whole day of searching, Mark's location was finally found. He seemed to know how to swim, so he still had a chance. After being rescued by the hospital, Mark spent 3 days and nights in the intensive care unit. I never went to see Mark, completely busy with filming. It wasn't until I heard that Mark miraculously survived that I remembered I needed to hurry up and get a divorce from him. Arriving at the door of the ward, I heard Chloe crying. Mark, you're awake. You have no idea how worried I've been about you. I've been terrified these days. I didn't mean to take the life boy. It was all for our son. Mark, will you forgive me, please? I looked up to see Mark's sick face showing deep affection. He held Chloe's hands, softly reassuring. Chloe, I've never blamed you. You're a mother, and I understand your desire to protect our son. Mark, you have no idea how unreasonable Olivia was. She actually live-streamed the incident that day, and both of us were targeted by ignorant people online. Suddenly sitting up in bed in shock, face as white as a sheet, Mark croaked, What? He rubbed his forehead, eyes full of shock. Olivia dared to do a live broadcast on site? Is she crazy? Doesn't she know how much this will affect the company? Hilarious. Does Mark not know that his company's stock has been falling rapidly? I pushed the door open and glanced at the man, tired and sickly. I'm not crazy. It's the company's public relations department that's crazy. After all, Mark's personal image is beyond repair this time. During this period, the news of Mark buying lives with money has been a hot topic on the internet. A cold and ruthless chill appeared in his eyes. Olivia, what benefit do you get from this? Are you purposely letting people die to see me and Chloe drift in the flood? At this moment, Mark's mother suddenly burst in. Mark, how can you look at Olivia like that? Don't you think all of this is your fault? And Miss Chloe, Mark, you better cut ties with her and apologize to Olivia. Mark's mother, Mary, quickly gave him a signal with her eyes, telling him he should give in to me first. Don't think I don't know. In the past life, Mary and Mark loved to play this game in front of me and Lily. One acted tough, the other acted gentle, and they took over my family's money. However, Mark insisted on holding Chloe's hand firmly with a strong and steady tone. Mom, Chloe is carrying my child now. She's carrying the grandson you've always wanted. I want to give her a home. Those words hit my heart heavily. I'm not angry, just endlessly sad for Lily. In the past life, Lily tried her best to please Mark's family, but they never paid much attention because she was a daughter. and Mark never thought about giving Lily a harmonious and happy family to be a good father figure. I reached into my bag and took out the divorce agreement, placing it in front of him. Perfect then. We're getting a divorce. Mary was suddenly furious, shaking as she said, Mark, I think you've gone mad. Did the flood wash your brain away? You want to give her a home, but what about Olivia? She turned her eyes and then turned to me and said, Don't worry, Olivia. Mom will handle things for you. It's fine that you're letting people die. Mom won't blame you. But divorce, that's not necessary, right? Mark quickly showed a hint of astonishment in his eyes, looked at the divorce agreement for a full half second before reacting. Fine. I agree to the divorce. Mary couldn't hold it back anymore and exclaimed, Mark! After a smooth divorce, I focused more on filming. The filming of this movie was coming to an end, and the main actor, Jack, came to make a brief appearance. During the filming, Jack and Chloe often flirted. The whole crew knew that there was something special between them. Some even saw Chloe and Jack hugging and kissing. I pretended not to see. What do I care about my ex-husband's affairs? The one who was kept in the dark was the pure love war god, Mark. In the past life, I only found out after marriage that Chloe was his unrequited love from his college days. So I never understood why, when he clearly fell in love with Chloe at first sight, he didn't tell me and quickly married me right after graduation. My fingers rested on my belly. This life, my Lily is living healthy and strong. After she's born, I don't plan to tell Mark. He doesn't deserve to be Lily's father in any way. One day, during a break at the film set, I saw Mark getting out of his car. He walked towards me, looking as fresh as a spring breeze, with a slight smile on his lips, showing he was in a good mood. Today was the end of the movie shoot. What did Mark want now? Then he walked up to me on purpose and said, I want to propose to Chloe. She's carrying my biological son. She's due in a few months. I have to give her a proper status. I can't let my son become a bastard. I couldn't help but chuckle. The whole crew was present today. I wished him a successful proposal. Chloe was pure and innocent, gentle and virtuous, a good girl. His stern eyes softened instantly, full of tenderness when Chloe was mentioned. Then he looked at me and his expression suddenly changed. Olivia, you need to change your attitude or no man will want you. My smile froze at his words, staring without expression at Mark. Why should I have to be wanted by a man? Isn't it their honor to be close to me? I raised an eyebrow, replying, also, you don't really think the child in Chloe's womb is yours, do you? At his words, Mark's face changed, his expression turning cold instantly. Olivia, watch your words. Of course the child in her womb is mine. Since he was so insistent, I was ready to get my popcorn and watch the show. Mark walked away in large strides, clearly displeased. He deliberately hid the truth from Chloe, and since arriving at the set, he never showed up again. His assistant gave me a video, as if they had discovered a monumental secret. Lily, I accidentally saw... She whispered a few words in my ear. I raised an eyebrow and smiled at the assistant. The last scene wasn't filmed until late at night. To celebrate the end of the shoot, the director bought a large quantity of fireworks to set off in celebration. Under the fireworks-filled sky, Mark slowly approached. He walked towards Chloe, each step firm. In the dazzling fireworks, he got down on one knee, took out a $1 million ring, and proposed. Chloe, I didn't know how to please you before, always making you angry, but now I've learned to love. I want to give you a home, give our child a home. The whole crowd fell silent. They all knew about Chloe and Jack's relationship, and it was hard to understand such a complicated love triangle. Chloe was confused, and Jack seemed more like someone watching. Mark, firm in every word, said, Chloe, will you marry me? Chloe remained silent, occasionally glancing at Jack. As the long silence continued, Mark grew increasingly anxious. In the tense atmosphere, suddenly the screen behind him lit up, the glaring light catching everyone's attention. A video started playing on the screen with Chloe's voice coming through. Jack, I'm pregnant with your child. You'll love me, right? The whole place was shocked. Mark's look of joy quickly turned cold as ice. He swiftly turned around to see Chloe and Jack embracing on the screen. In that moment, his expression became unstable. Unbelievable. Completely crushed. In the video, Chloe leaned on Jack dependently. The sight of their affection felt like an invisible slap harshly landing on Mark's face. But the worst was yet to come. Jack sneered. "Whose child is in your belly?" "Of course it's yours. This child is already 3 months old. If it's not yours, then whose could it be? Remember when the flood happened? I had to lie to that idiot and say the child was his so he would save me." I almost burst out laughing. It seems only Mark was hurt in this world. With eyes burning red, Mark showed a glimpse of sorrow in his gaze. "Chloe, so you've been lying to me all along? This child isn't mine?" Chloe's eyes turned red, tears slowly falling, a pitiful sight. "Mark, I truly love you. I was just playing around with them." Laughable. Who would believe such words? Chloe was now desperately trying to please Mark while Playboy Jack remained indifferent. With the proposal failure and the incident with the green meadow on his head exposed, the world didn't know who did it. After cheating during his marriage and then being cheated on after the divorce, Mark's affairs were now all over the internet. The negative news about him directly affected the company's image. With public opinion raging, the company's stock plummeted, and Mark became the butt of internet jokes. He rejected the top actress Olivia, only to fall for someone like Chloe. With the scandal brewing, it was hard to calm the storm once it started. In just a month, Mark's company had suffered unprecedented damage. Now, I wanted to see how long Mark could hold on without Mary's family and me. A month later, as I finished an outdoor shoot and returned home, I met Mark standing at the door. He looked at me, his voice trembling slightly. "Olivia, can you help me now?" Clearly exhausted, Mark showed signs of fatigue. I looked at him expressionlessly and asked coldly, "Help you with what?" "The company's stocks have plummeted, and it may face even more serious issues soon. Olivia, you're the only one who can help me now." I smiled sarcastically. "Mark, you can ask Chloe for help. I'm sure she'd be happy to assist." Only thinking of me when he's desperate. Back in the day, he was willing to give his heart to Chloe for fame and fortune. Mentioning Chloe, Mark's face instantly changed. He bit his lip, trying to contain his impatience, and calmly said, "Olivia, you know Chloe can't help me. Only your family business can assist me now, even if it means merging our companies. It's up to you." It seemed that Mark's family company was in dire straits. Otherwise, he wouldn't come to me, dropping his high and mighty demeanor, asking for such a favor. But I didn't want to take on a sinking ship. "No, I'm not interested. I find it dirty." With those words, Mark's pupils shrank, and clear anger appeared on his handsome face. "What do you mean?" "Literally not a dirty company, but a dirty person. If I helped him, I'd be tangled with him endlessly for the rest of my life. Instead, I'd rather make my own success. And why should I inherit a failing business when my family's industry is thriving?" That day onwards, I never saw Mark again. My career flourished, and Lily in my womb grew healthily, her presence becoming more apparent. I didn't want too much media exposure on my personal life, but I was still caught by paparazzi when I went out. Now, news about my pregnancy surged to the top of the trending topics. Everyone was speculating if I would reconcile with Mark because of the child. This news quickly reached Mark's ears. I encountered Mark at an event where he was busy networking with former business partners and seeking funding. He had now cast aside his dignity, even accepting rejection calmly. But this humbler version of him was a far cry from the one everyone used to bend to. Our eyes met. As I turned to leave, Mark hurriedly caught up and blocked my path. Olivia, you're pregnant, right? It's my child, isn't it?" I squinted, looking calmly at his expectant eyes. He had never anticipated Lily's birth in the past life. That day, when I went into labor, Mark was in a meeting at the office. The birth was complicated, and I suffered severe bleeding on the operating table. A near-death experience, but Lily was born. After giving birth as a husband and a father, he showed no concern for us. That's why I now felt his current display to be insincere. Olivia, I know it's my child. For the child's sake, forgive me this time, won't you? With a scoff, I couldn't suppress the surge of hatred in my heart. Unable to endure any longer, I slapped Mark across the face. A crisp slap. The sound drew the attention of the people at the event. Mark turned his face, his fierce and cold eyes locked onto me, a wave of anger rushing through him as he lowered his voice. Olivia, was I wrong in what I said? The child is mine. What's wrong with enduring it for the child? I'll treat you well from now on. Why should I endure it, Mark? You tell me. Why should I endure it? I lifted my shoulders with a slight smile on my lips and said casually, I have money and a career. After the child is born, I can give her the best life. She will be pampered by everyone as a princess. Why do I have to compromise in front of you? You think too highly of yourself. After the child is born, you have nothing to do with her. I can be both her mother and father. As Mark was humiliated, he remained silent for a while, clenching his fists tightly. As I passed by him, I whispered, Forgot to tell you, she can only be my daughter, not yours. After Lily was born, she was no longer the Lily of the past who was not expected by her father. She became my precious Lily. Mark's face looked especially embarrassed. It was even more embarrassing than giving him a slap. But I liked seeing him like that. The more messy and miserable he looked, the more I enjoyed it. Since my movie was released in theaters, it has become a big hit online. My acting skills have been recognized by the public, and there have been continuous positive reviews online. Olivia is so beautiful, has a great figure, and excellent acting skills. Love her. Leaving a man behind and you become super powerful, isn't that right, sister? But Olivia, who was previously love-struck, will she remarry Mark because of the child? I don't know who spread the news about me remarrying Mark. The internet is discussing everything about me. During a promotional event for the movie, reporters asked me, Will you remarry Mark? Facing the camera, I said very calmly, I never had the thought of remarrying. The child is the child. I am me. Here, I want to tell all the female fans, even if you are pregnant, don't lose yourself. I said this mainly for myself to hear. I feel regretful for the past me who left the entertainment industry for love. A few months later, I heard the news about Mark's bankruptcy. Mark going bankrupt was within my expectations. Once the assets of his family were separated from the funds of my family, it was difficult to keep going, and cutting losses in time was the best result. But I never expected Mark to struggle this long. He also got tangled in an economic dispute lawsuit, owed a large amount of foreign debt, and couldn't pay it off. Therefore, he was taken to court. The headquarters building of Mark's company was already in court for auction. To prevent losing money on production, I had stopped all activities. I stayed at home every day to take care of myself, looking forward to Lily's birth. At the same time, I had my assistant keep an eye on the auction process until I successfully bought the headquarters building of his company. As soon as I arrived at the company, I saw Mark being taken away by the police. Olivia, are you here to save me? I took off my sunglasses and looked at Mark, who was about to get into the police car. Olivia, it's this building. The person next to him respectfully invited me to enter. I glanced at Mark and smirked. The company's legal person is me. Mark's expression changed abruptly, his eyes filled with complicated and hateful emotions. You have money, but you are not willing to save me? Olivia, do you hate me that much? Hate? Of course I hate you. Letting you live in prison for your whole life is already a gift to you. I wish you were dead. If there weren't legal limits, I would definitely find someone to kill Mark so that my precious Lily wouldn't have a terrible father and she wouldn't be bullied anymore. With Mark imprisoned for an economic dispute, I established my own company. Not only that, I even received a nomination for Best Actress. One day, the members of our movie crew sat together. I happened to be sitting next to Chloe. When I received the award for Best Actress at the Golden Horse Awards, I caught a glimpse of envy from Chloe's eyes. Despite her efforts to hide it, I noticed. Congratulations, Olivia. You are successful in your career now, and your child is about to be born. I smiled and whispered, Thank you. But what about your child? Chloe's child had a miscarriage, and Jack didn't want to take responsibility. The management company also wouldn't allow her to easily have a child, so Chloe had to end the pregnancy first. Later, I went to the stage to receive the award. This was my dream. Previously, it was something I regretted not achieving, but now it was fulfilled. I felt lucky to be alive in this world, not just existing like in a dream. This award was a witness to Lily's presence in my life. She would always be by my side. On the day of her birth, I was excited and looking forward to it. By taking action beforehand, I avoided the severe bleeding situation from my previous life. I successfully gave birth to Lily, who was cute and lovely, exactly like in my past life. Lily turned out to be surprisingly smart as she learned to speak before she was 1 year old. When she called out Mom for the first time, my heart swelled with joy and excitement. My tears kept flowing. The happiness of getting back what was lost was beyond understanding. I spoiled Lily, holding her in the palm of my hand. She became the favorite of the company and the most important person in my life. Some are happy, some worry. In the same year that Lily was born, Chloe upset someone important in the entertainment industry. Her acting skills were already questionable, and it was said that she had rearranged the seating arrangements at an event and offended someone she shouldn't have. Since then, Chloe was blacklisted by the entertainment industry, never attended an event, and only appeared on TV screens. She was forgotten by the fast-paced world as if she had never existed. Time flew, and soon it was Lily's 7th birthday. I held a lavish birthday party for her at the most luxurious five-star hotel in the city center. At this moment, she stood in front of a 7-layer cake, closed her eyes, and blew out the candles. A smile appeared on her innocent little face, with dimples so adorable. Mom is not just my mom, but also my dad. She is Lily's favorite person in the world. Since Lily can remember, she has never looked for a father figure because she has had enough love from me, enough in her memories. The candlelight reflected on her lovely face. Tears welled up in my eyes as she said, trying not to cry, "I want to be with Mom forever." My heart was full of emotion, and I hugged her tightly. "Lily, would you like Mom to sing to you?" Lily kissed my cheek and nodded with a smile. Holding a microphone, I stood on the banquet stage and gave her a special birthday gift. I sang 7 songs full of childlike innocence, the notes dancing in the air, showing my endless blessings for my daughter, and silently praying in my heart, wishing my Lily a lifetime of peace, joy, and happiness without worries.